Chicago are facing eviction.
Plus, how a potential shutdown at City Hall could impact Chicagoans.
Fair weather to the extreme. What's ahead for fans heading to Soldier Field for what could be the coldest game of all time? Good afternoon, I'm Terrence Lee.
And I'm Casey Cronus. Weather is first at 4. Mark Strowl is here, and we are going to take a quick look outside. Looks a little foggy. It's not too bad today, but Mark, the cold temps are coming in.
Yeah, they're dropping in overnight tonight. Tomorrow's going to be a bitterly cold day with daytime highs only the teens. Teens again coming your way on Sunday. And with those winds, it'll feel more like teens below zero for our wind chills. Now, on top of that, we've got a little bit of light snowfall across much of Chicago, probably about an inch or so. But this snow system will be diving down primarily along and south of Interstate 80. Central Illinois could have between 3 and 5 inches, and a couple of inches certainly possible along that Interstate 80 corridor. Tell you more about just how low those wind chills go and give you the exact timing coming up.
Cook County is opening up warming centers to help people get out of the freezing cold. 3 locations are open right now and will stay open through Monday. These are the Skokie, Maywood, and Markham courthouses. They'll give you water, snacks, and access to restrooms. You can bring pets, but they have to be in cages or carriers. Aurora is opening overnight centers starting at 7 tonight. We have a full list on our website. Well, residents at one apartment in the South Shore about to get kicked out. This is the same place ICE agents raided earlier this fall.
A judge says they have to leave, and now families are racing to find a place to go as the weather gets colder. Leslie Moreno is live with details. Hey, Leslie.
Terrence, Casey, good evening. Yeah, we are right outside that apartment here on 75th and South Shore Drive, a place that's been the center of controversy since that raid back in September. Tonight, many families are left packing up whatever belongings they can. A judge has ruled the building here is simply too unsafe. That building you see there has been cited multiple times for serious problems, everything from heat outages to structural concerns. Tenants say those issues piled up long before federal agents showed up. Residents formed a tenants group hoping to buy more time, but it was rejected. A judge also denied a motion for each tenant to receive $7,500 to help relocate. Adding tenants are being offered a fair amount based on their rent. Tonight, residents say this sudden deadline feels impossible. They've spent weeks searching for new housing, only to find long wait lists, high rents, and very little help. Take a listen to how one resident describes the horrific living conditions.
Stop paying rent due to the nastiness, the filthiness, no gas, no water at times, the elevators not working. It was just disgusting, and I had to get out of here. You know, I deserve better than this. I never lived like this, you know. This was horrible, you know. The prostitution, you know, a lot of things was going on in here, you know.
And community groups have spent the day dropping off boxes, supplies, and trying to connect families with temporary shelter. But with so few units available on such short notice, many residents say they have no other choice but to couch surf to find a local shelter or leave the neighborhood completely. We have also heard from a couple people telling us they have absolutely nowhere to go tonight. For now, reporting live here in the South Side, Leslie Moreno, Fox 32 Chicago.
Leslie, thank you. 3 Chicago men arrested after a home invasion in Lamont have been tied to the same crime in Homer Glen just one day earlier. On Wednesday afternoon, police say the suspects forced their way into a 73-year-old woman's home in Homer Glen, bound her to a chair, and later withdrew cash from her bank account. The next day, investigators say the same armed men targeted a 65-year-old woman in Lamont as she was unloading boxes in her driveway. They allegedly forced her inside and stole her ATM card. Police used license plate reader technology to track them down in Joliet. They sped away, crashed their car, and ran on foot, but were later arrested. The Will County Sheriff's Office says all 3 men are from Chicago and have a lengthy criminal history. Chicago police need your help finding this boy. 4-year-old Hassan Nicholas Yule Cook was last seen Wednesday in the city's Little Village neighborhood. Police say he was with his dad and is wearing a brown sweater. His father, 24-year-old Sergio Daniel Yule Cook, is also missing. If you have seen them, give police a call.
Indiana shot down President Trump's redistricting plan, and now the state might lose federal money. The Indy Star, The Hill, and the Indiana Chronicle say the lieutenant governor posted on X the Trump team threatened to cut federal funds if lawmakers didn't pass a GOP-backed congressional map. The president also said he'd back primary challengers. On Thursday, the Indiana Senate voted 31-19 to kill the redistricting bill.
A federal appeals court is blocking the sweeping release of hundreds of immigrants detained during Operation Midway Blitz. At the same time, the 3 judges who made the decision are allowing an extension of the consent decree, limiting agents from making arrests without a warrant. Last month, the U.S. district judge ordered the detainees be released on bond, claiming the government violated that consent decree. But the court says that judge overstepped his authority by ordering a blanket release instead of reviewing cases individually. Meantime, a Garfield Park church has donated over $22,000 toward the release of Operation Midway Blitz detainees. Block Club reports the money will go to the Midwest Immigration Bond Fund. The group works to help those who may qualify for release after a court ruled that ICE violated a 2022 consent decree.
We are just 2.5 weeks away from the budget deadline at City Hall. Mayor Johnson and council members can't reach a deal. The city could face a government shutdown.
Brett Bagansky is live outside City Hall. Brett, a city government shutdown has never happened before.
And that's why we wanted to know what happens if there's a city of Chicago government shutdown. So I found out that very question is being debated this weekend and as we speak right here at City Hall. So let's talk about how we got here. We've for days heard from Mayor Brandon Johnson talk about the potential of a government shutdown and the potential for about 30,000 city workers who would maybe not get paid, and some city services potentially would be shut down. So for the last 2 days, I've reached out to the mayor's office to find out the specifics, who wouldn't get paid, what services would stop. And a spokesperson earlier this afternoon told me they would get back to me. So still waiting on an answer for that. But keep this in mind. If there's a potential city of Chicago government shutdown, there's the potential that other people could be impacted, even if they don't work for the city of Chicago. So I spoke with Vince Sliwa, who is the owner of a Windy City Garage. He builds garages all across the Chicagoland area. And he deals really with permits and inspections. And he and his workers are really worried about if there's a government shutdown, there's no checks and balances. They might be put at a standstill here.
So what does that mean for your workers, any sort of subcontractors who are working on garages?
It means if we're unable to get the permits or inspections, we're kind of at a standstill. And for the clients and for our workers, it's just we're playing the waiting game.
And does that mean some of your workers are out of work?
Yeah, it can be. Yes, absolutely.
A lot of worried people, a lot of uncertainty here. And just minutes ago, I spoke with Alderman Brian Hopkins right out here. I posed that very question with them. What services would be closed? Who would not get paid? The short answer, they don't know. That's certainly because this has never happened before. That's why there's a lot of uncertainty behind this. But I found out from him they're making some contingency plans. Be sure to watch this space right here because this is being debated and they're trying to avoid a potential city of Chicago government shutdown this weekend. Of course, the clock is ticking. But for now, we're live outside City Hall tonight. Brett Bagansky, Fox 32 Chicago.
A new study says Cook County's property tax incentives need a refresh. It found that long-standing tax breaks for commercial and industrial properties aren't helping the areas that need it most. The report says current incentives often give tax breaks to businesses that don't need the help. It also says the rules haven't kept up with today's market. Cook County officials are being asked to rethink how tax breaks are handed out to make sure they're helping the right communities and businesses. Don't forget, your second property tax bill is due Monday.
The executive director of the Chicago Police Memorial Foundation is retiring. Phil Klein established the foundation in 2004 when he was serving as CPD's superintendent. At the time, his goal was to build a permanent memorial honoring all Chicago police officers killed in the line of duty. The Gold Star Families Memorial and Park was dedicated 2 years later. The foundation then shifted its focus to provide ongoing financial and emotional support for families families of fallen and injured officers. Now, after nearly 5 decades of serving the city, Klein is ready to retire and focus on family and health. Last year, he was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease.
Our Lady of Guadalupe celebrations are happening right now in Des Plaines. Hundreds, even thousands have gathered for this 2-day event. It's the largest pilgrimage in the U.S. honoring Our Lady of Guadalupe. But the Archdiocese of Chicago says fewer people might show up this year because of the freezing cold and also worries about federal immigration enforcement. ICE, we understand, won't be on the ground unless they have an arrest warrant. And Homeland Security made it clear this week ICE does not raid churches. Tonight's big closing mass starts at 7 o'clock. Straight ahead, the right to die. Governor Pritzker quietly signs a bill for terminally ill patients. Fair Shots talked with a woman whose name is on the bill. He has an update for us next.
And scientists are working on a new vaccine, not to prevent an illness, but to block the effects of fentanyl.
Democrats release new photos from Jeffrey Epstein's estate 1 week before the Department of Justice has to release all its files on the late sex offender. I'm Rebecca Castor with how the White House is responding.
We have an update on Michigan's former coach. Sharon Moore is now facing felony home invasion charges, and he's also charged with several misdemeanors. The charges are related to his arrest Wednesday. Moore was fired this week. He coached the Wolverines for 2 seasons. He was fired for having an alleged inappropriate relationship with a staff member. Michigan prosecutors say he terrorized his former girlfriend after he lost his head coaching job.
Exactly 1 week before the deadline for the Justice Department to release all of its files on Jeffrey Epstein, House Democrats are unveiling new photos from his estate.
Rebecca Castor details what the photos reveal and what's still to come.
A new batch of photos show just some of the powerful men sex offender Jeffrey Epstein socialized with, including former Harvard president Larry Summers, filmmaker Woody Allen, billionaire Bill Gates, and Presidents Bill Clinton and Donald Trump.
People should be able to make judgments on their own as to what they see in these photos. For us, this is about transparency.
Democrats released 19 photos Friday, a fraction of the 95,000 handed over by the Epstein estate. Republicans claim they're cherry-picking photos. In a statement, the White House says the Democrat hoax against President Trump has been repeatedly debunked, and the Trump administration has done more for Epstein's victims than Democrats ever have.
We will continue to follow the law with maximum transparency while protecting victims.
The Department of Justice has until next Friday to release all the Epstein files in its possession. Secret grand jury transcripts from 3 cases involving Epstein and his accomplice Ghislaine Maxwell are also set to be made public.
And we're going to make sure that the Department of Justice complies.
All of the high-profile men in the photos, including Presidents Trump and Clinton, have denied any involvement in or knowledge of Epstein's crimes. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox 32 Chicago.
A biotech company is getting ready to run a clinical trial for the first ever fentanyl vaccine. Researchers from Armor Sciences say the vaccine will teach the body's immune system to produce antibodies that stop the effects of the drug and prevent overdose and death by keeping fentanyl from ever reaching the brain.
You tell the immune system, hey, fentanyl may be coming, and then when it sees fentanyl, it makes antibodies and attacks the fentanyl before it ever gets to the brain.
The company says the vaccine will serve as another way to fight the threats of deadly drugs. The first phase of the trial will start in a few weeks, and scientists say protections can last up to a year.
This year's snow season is already breaking records when it comes to 311 calls about uncleared roads and sidewalks. There have been more service calls this year than any year since 2019. 311 data shows from November 1st to December 10th, the city got over 12,000 snow-related complaints. Almost half of those calls were about uncleared sidewalks. I wonder how many of those calls are just about people complaining about the cold itself, or, Mark Shell, the people who don't clean off their windshields or the top of their cars.
Doesn't that drive you nuts?
Yeah.
You know, and especially when you go down the expressway, and a lot of times you'll see this of the semis pulling out of the, the warehouses and everything. And this is even a day or two after the snow, and they've got 6 inches of snow on top of the semi, and it all blows off, and it's
Just
like an
falls
instant
down.
light out
Yep.
on the expressway.
Wipers can't keep up.
Yeah, it's
all.
not too hard to put a little brush as the trucks move out. That's my invention. I'm giving it to you today, free. You know, just a thought. I've thought about this before because I've been caught in that many, many times, as I'm sure you may have been. Temperatures right now, upper 20s. We're pretty mild. These are the warmest temperatures we're going to see around here through the weekend, at least until next Monday. Wind chill's not that bad, although we are starting to see some teens. But you know what? Coming up this weekend, picture that wind chill chart, only with a minus sign in front of it. We're going to see teens below zero for a good portion of the later day on Saturday, overnight, Saturday night, into early Sunday. It is going to be brutally cold. We also have some snowfall coming our way, mostly light snowfall here in Chicago. I don't expect a whole lot, just a little dust up in the city. This next system, and you can start to see the leading edge of that out over the Dakotas and back towards Montana. That'll be diving across central Illinois. And you can see the trajectory here, not only bringing in the cold air, but bringing in the snowfall here, right? Basically from Interstate 80 southward. That's where most of the heavier snowfall is going to come in. There is a winter weather advisory posted for LaSalle County, but the thought behind that is mostly the little panhandle, the southern portion of LaSalle County. So if you're down well south of Interstate 80, that's where the heaviest snowfall is going to come down. Again, an advisory posted for LaSalle County. The rest of us will see some flurries and light snowfall, certainly some flurries tonight, but it does get cold over the weekend. We'll talk more about those lows and highs, which aren't that far apart, coming up.
All right, Mark, thank you. Workers at the Adler Planetarium have voted to unionize. The union will form with AFME Council 31 and represent 70 workers. Unions have also been created at the Field Museum, Shedd Aquarium, and the Museum of Science and Industry.
You may not have seen Jen Simmons' testimony in front of Congress. Coming up next, a live report on the debate over artist royalties in the age of streaming music.
And pressure is mounting in Washington to solve major health insurance issues still ahead.
show created a bonding experience for like 70,000 people all at once. There's something very special about that.
Taylor Swift is pulling back the curtain on her massively successful Eras Tour in a new 6-episode docuseries, The End of an Era. 2 episodes will debut on Disney Plus each week starting today. The series also features Sabrina Carpenter, Travis Kelce, of course, and Ed Sheeran, along with her band, dancers, crew, and family members.
Beautiful gowns. Some rock stars want lawmakers to pass the American Music Fairness Act.
The bill would close a loophole that lets AM/FM radio stations play their music without paying for it.
Asher Red is on Music Row in Nashville. And Asher, some say this could really change the industry.
Well, Terrence and Casey, a lot of the people who work on this 1.5-mile stretch of road, specifically in the record labels and the recording studios, say that this bill, the passage of it, is long overdue. It would require that radio stations pay both the record labels and the performers each time one of their songs is played on the radio. Now, right now, AM and FM radio stations only pay royalties to songwriters and publishers, but not the performers or the record labels behind the song. Kiss's Gene Simmons says he has never seen a dime for the millions of times that radio stations have played his hits, even while other music streaming platforms like Apple Music and Spotify pay performers for their work. In February, Simmons and more than 300 other artists, like Aerosmith, for example, signed a letter urging lawmakers to pass this bill. And on Tuesday in D.C., he pleaded with senators to get the job done.
When you work hard and you get to the top, what do you got? Zipperoonie. That's not the American way. If you are against this bill, you are un-American. We're not treating our stars right. In other words, worse than slaves. Slaves get food and water. Elvis and Bing Crosby and Sinatra got nothing for their performance.
However, one Nashville entertainment lawyer I spoke with worries the bill would shortchange songwriters. Barry Neil Shrum has worked with performers and songwriters for 3 decades, and he says that they're all singing the same tune because none of them think that they're getting paid enough in royalties.
The equities of the music industry have always favored the most powerful stakeholders. What it short circuits is payments to the songwriters. And the lowly songwriter, the creator, the people who actually write the songs, very frequently get overlooked in these conversations.
And Shrum says that he supports this bill overall, but he thinks it should be broadened to make sure that songwriters are getting their fair share, too. Terrence and Casey?
Asher, thank you. After the break, we all have our own opinion on this one, but a new study is naming the nation's most stressful airports.
And good news on track for busy Amtrak employees, how thousands of dollars in bonuses just arrived at the station.
And Bear Down fans are bundling up for a frigid face-off with the Browns this Sunday.
If you want total health care from a provider you trust,
hi, Blair. Hi.
Right in the palm of your hand, if you want soup, sweatpants, and 0 in-person contact. If you want wellness wherever, our virtual primary care delivers with great website manner.
No worries.
So choose your doctor from our profiles and enjoy the healthiest online relationship you've ever had. House calls have evolved. Advocate Healthcare. Save up to
Now on the news at 4, the right to die. Governor Pritzker signs a bill allowing some terminally ill adults to decide when their fight is over.
Health insurance premiums could skyrocket for millions of Americans as lawmakers disagree on how to solve the looming crisis.
First, this weekend is going to be cold. Some of the coldest temperatures of the season are moving in.
Mark Strell is back with your forecast. And Mark, this weekend is no time to mess around.
Yeah, that little picture you showed there of Soldier Field, that's our own little version of the frozen tundra, right? Coming up on the weekend, we've got wind chills that will be down 15, maybe 20 degrees below zero during game time. In fact, we've got some flurries and light snowfall coming our way. Overnight tonight, some flurries, some light snowfall tomorrow, enough so that there's a winter weather advisory posted for LaSalle County. Now, if you're in LaSalle, Peru, Ottawa, anywhere over towards Marseilles, you know, no big issues there. This is mostly for southern LaSalle County. You'll see some snowfall, but I think a couple of inches, mostly. South of Interstate 80, 3 to 5 inches certainly possible, and some of that will splash up across parts of Chicago. I think we have no problem seeing maybe an inch or even 2 inches of snowfall, especially the south suburbs. Not a major snowfall event, but this is all part of the package. In comes some snowfall, and right behind it comes some cold air dipping down. We should be below zero or very close to it coming up tomorrow night. And again, daytime highs in the teens tomorrow, in the teens on Sunday, with wind chills likely in the teens also, but negative teens. Forecast straight ahead.
All right, Mark, thank you. With extreme cold on the way, the state fire marshal is reminding families to protect themselves from carbon monoxide poisoning. That can come from things like malfunctioning furnaces, generators, stoves, and dryers. Carbon monoxide, often referred to as the silent killer, because it's an odorless, colorless, and tasteless gas. It's created when fuels like gasoline, wood, natural gas, or propane don't burn completely. We'll have more on the dangerously cold temperatures in just a few minutes.
Illinois is now the 12th state to allow physician-assisted death.
Governor J.B. Pritzker signed the Medical Aid in Dying Act, and it's getting mixed reactions.
Political reporter Paris Schutz is here to break it all down. Paris?
Yeah, Casey and Terrence, strong feelings on both sides of this issue. The governor did away today with the typical pomp and circumstance of a bill signing and instead decided to put out a written statement signing the bill that some critics have referred to as assisted suicide, but proponents call medical aid in dying.
The bill is named after terminally ill Lombard resident Deb Robertson, who has been fighting for its passage. We visited with Robertson in the summer. She explained why she believes patients like her need to have the option to die on their own terms to avoid a painful natural death from illness.
I'm already dying. You know, I'm already dying, and I want to die with dignity, and I want to die the way I want to die.
The bill passed the Illinois General Assembly with a supermajority this fall. Governor Pritzker said his decision was influenced by the stories of Robertson and others. Quote, today, Illinois honors their strength and courage by enacting legislation that enables patients faced with debilitating terminal illnesses to make a decision in consultation with a doctor that helps them avoid unnecessary pain and suffering at the end of their lives. Under the bill, a patient would need to be diagnosed with a terminal illness and given 6 months or less to live. They must be evaluated for mental health concerns and get verbal and written approval from 2 physicians 5 days apart. And doctors who prescribe would be immune from prosecution unless they coerce a patient, in which case they would face felony charges. House Republican leader Tony McComey had a mixed reaction. Quote, this is an emotional and deeply personal issue for many families, including mine. When my mother passed at home, I know she would have chosen this path to ease our pain, not her own. That's exactly why strong safeguards matter. This bill goes too far without the protections Illinois families deserve. But religious groups have universally opposed the legislation. Today, a spokesperson for the Catholic Conference of Illinois said, quote, Illinois is endorsing the death option while claiming compassion. The message will be heard by vulnerable groups not as a balm for the dying, but as a societally acceptable alternative to living. Indeed, studies show that where assisted suicide has been made legal, the number of all suicides has risen.
But it is law now, and Robertson, through a spokesperson today, said she was thrilled and that getting this over the finish line was a surreal out-of-body experience. She still is alive and kicking, and we wish our best regards to Deb Robertson. Terrence?
All right, Paris, thank you. 19 days left in the year, and Congress is racing to extend Affordable Care Act subsidies.
And if they don't act, millions will see health care premiums skyrocket come January 1st. Chad Pergram is on Capitol Hill with the latest on negotiations.
Everybody is coming together on the final plan. We're still working on the final details of it.
House Republicans undeterred by Thursday's Senate failure on health care. They're scrambling to put together a final plan of their own.
This is going to be a great piece of legislation that everybody will unite around, so stay tuned for the details.
But both Senate proposals, a GOP health savings account plan, and a Democratic bill to extend subsidies for 3 years collapsed Thursday. Democrats say there isn't enough time to start fresh.
The idea that we're going to try to start over when we have 1 week left in session, just days before Christmas, that's not going to get done.
The race to curb soaring health care costs comes as 19 days remain in 2025 and only a week remaining on the formal congressional calendar. Come January 1st, health care premiums will skyrocket for millions if Congress isn't able to extend the subsidies. For some, the solution is simple.
Make private health insurance more competitive and provide more affordable options from that market.
New York Democrat Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez blames House Speaker Mike Johnson. She says the stalemate is a byproduct of the government shutdown.
He kept Republicans home for over a month so that they would not negotiate and figure out a problem on health care.
Still, President Trump remains optimistic that a Christmas compromise is possible.
I really believe we can work on health care together and come up with something that's going to be much better.
Mike Johnson aims to move a health care bill next week, but it's unclear if it would include an extension of the Obamacare tax credits. That's the key to solving the crisis. On Capitol Hill, Chad Pergram, Fox News.
President Trump signs an executive order on artificial intelligence to stop states from enacting their own regulations. The president says he wants to avoid burdensome rules in the country's AI race against China. The executive order will direct the Attorney General to set up a new task force challenging state laws and require the Commerce Department to create a list of problematic regulations.
Stocks dropped hard on Friday with traders backing away from artificial intelligence bets as the tech market got shakier. The S&P 500 and NASDAQ both finished the week down, breaking a 2-week winning streak. The Dow average lost 246 points. The S&P 500 fell 74, and the NASDAQ dropped nearly 400 points. Amtrak workers are getting bonuses. More than 18,000 employees will get $900 each. This is happening after executives gave up part of their bonuses. The Department of Transportation confirmed this. The money for the bonuses comes from the Amtrak's executive team bonus packages. The Trump administration pushed for executives to cut their bonuses by 50%.
A study done by travel insurance companies reveals Newark International in New Jersey is the most stressful airport in the world. Also in the top 5 are JFK in New York City and Chicago's O'Hare. The rankings are based on factors like security wait times and flight delays.
Another new survey shows almost 1 in 4 Americans plan their Christmas around watching sports. They time gift giving, meals, and family visits based on when NFL games start and which NBA matchups are on. Football is the biggest Christmas favorite. More people link Christmas with the NFL than the NBA. Well, neither the Bulls or the Bears will be playing this Christmas.
But the action will be hot this weekend, or should we say ice cold? Are the Bears ready for what could be a historically chilly game? Coming up, the precautions Soldier Field is taking to help fans bear down.
Get your project.
The Bears are taking on the Cleveland Browns this weekend, and no matter what type of heat the players bring to the field, it might be one of the coldest games in Soldier Field history.
Now, the coldest game ever played at the stadium was December 22nd, 2008. Chicago played the Green Bay Packers. It was 2 degrees at kickoff with wind chills dropping to negative 13.
My gosh.
Yeah, the Bears won 20-17 in overtime in that one. If you're heading to the game, here's the deal. Hot drinks and warming centers will be around. You can wear clothing with battery-operated heaters, but be ready for extra security checks.
Speaking of that, we'll have more on this potentially historic game ahead on the news at 5. But right now, we want to talk more about the dangers of these bitterly cold temps.
Yeah, Manager of Emergency Management Services for OEMC, Matthew Dowdy, is joining us now to go over a few things. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Hey, so Matt, you know, when it's this cold, what do you think the biggest mistake people make without even realizing it is?
I don't think they realize it does not take much time to really impact your body when you're outdoors. So that's why we certainly encourage everybody to limit your time outside as much as possible. If you do have to go outside, obviously we want to make sure that people are dressing in layers with warm, loose clothing. We want to make sure that your extremities are covered, your head, your hands, and your feet, and certainly make sure that your clothing stays dry.
I mean, how fast can it actually turn dangerous to someone who works outside or who may be going to that game and sitting outside?
Sure, sometimes as little as 15 minutes. Wow. And I realize that's going to be tough for those Bears fans out at Soldier Field this weekend, but we need people to listen to their bodies and recognize when it's time to head indoors.
And people think they are tough during this cold weather, but what is one warning sign, Matt, that you want people to know you gotta get inside? There's no debating it.
Sure. Paying attention to your skin color. If it turns an abnormal color, that could be an initial sign of frostbite or hypothermia. So that is a good time to get indoors, as well as taking care of your pets, too. You want to minimize the amount of time that your pets spend outdoors.
Yeah, for people heading to Soldier Field Sunday, I don't know if you'll be among them. What should they do before they leave the house to stay safe? What would you recommend?
Well, I'm glad to see that battery-powered vests and other clothing are allowed. If you don't already own some, this might be a good time to invest in them. I myself just got one last year, and it pays off handsomely.
Oh, yeah.
Now, this is a time of year where we all need to look out for one another. If someone who's at the game sees another fan struggling, or if you're not at the game but you're out and about and you see someone else who is having a tough time, what do you suggest they do to help that person?
Sure. I would say if you're at the game, obviously, Soldier Field has their own internal security network that you can contact if somebody's in distress. Here in the city in general, you can always call 311 if you think there's a need for a well-being check. 311 is also a great resource to find out where various warming centers are across the city, or as well as requesting a shelter to go stay at.
Yeah, an extreme cold like this, who worries you most across the city, and how can neighbors help? I'd imagine the elderly is on that list.
Sure, the elderly is certainly on that list. In fact, we sent out a robocall to a large distribution group of senior citizens earlier today. We want to make sure that they're stocking up on non-perishable foods, making sure that they're securing their medications, making sure that they're checking on their friends and neighbors, and making sure that their carbon monoxide and smoke detectors are working and have fresh batteries as well.
Yeah, great advice. And this time of year, there's always that concern, too, about frozen pipes and heating the home safely. What do you suggest homeowners and renters do, especially if they'll be out and about? Maybe they'll be out at that game for a long period of time this weekend.
Sure. I think we almost saw it on your clip there. Keep those faucets dripping, very small drips to prevent those pipes from freezing. Unfortunately, every year we hear some horror stories about pipes freezing and the damage that they can cause.
So we want drip drops, or we want like a pencil stream?
I think we want teardrops as long as it's coming out.
Teardrops. I like it.
Good to know.
Well, Matthew, thank you so much for your insight. Great advice.
Thank you for having me.
All right, stay warm. Well, there's a certain feel around Chicago at Christmas and some very special flavors, too. Sylvia Perez takes us for a holiday taste coming up.
And a weather phenomenon that's being mistaken for life on other planets. We'll give you a look just ahead.
But first, here's a look at your trip home.
This
Hey, check this out. Looks like a red jellyfish floating in the sky, right?
Yeah, it does.
It's not. NASA says it's a super rare weather thing called a sprite. During a big thunderstorm, instead of lightning going from clouds to the ground, it shoots up into the atmosphere. So it's pretty much red lightning. If there are any Stranger Things fans out there,
Right.
looks very much like Vecna is flying.
It looks a little extraterrestrial. Yeah.
He's coming.
Well, hopefully no extraterrestrial phenomenons this weekend, Mark, but we are going to see icy temps.
Yeah, no, E.T. would go home because it's a little too chilly here. Going back to whatever warm planet the E.T.s are from. Even tonight, we hear, that's exactly how they sound in my mind. Overnight tonight, we're in the single digits here in the city, and we should have some minus digits in the north and northwest suburbs. I don't think that will be too hard to achieve. You can see the official forecast down to 1 degree in Woodstock, but I think we'll have even colder temperatures in some of those cold-prone areas. There is a winter weather advisory up for LaSalle County, but this is primarily an area that's going to be affected south of Interstate 80. That's where the snow is coming in tomorrow. We'll have some flurries, some light snowfall tonight, but I think most of the snowfall comes our way tomorrow. And again, south of Interstate 80, here in the city, maybe an inch or so, but flurries and light snowfall, but sub-zero temperatures Saturday night and into Sunday. There is some cold weather coming our way. First look, Futurecast, pretty quiet, pretty dry here this evening. just a couple of scattered snow showers, maybe a flurry or two. And then as we go into Saturday, here we are, 8:15 in the morning. You can see that snowfall developing again, primarily along and south of Interstate 80. An inch or two, maybe up to 3 inches right along Interstate 80 and points southward. Again, nothing really too intense coming for snowfall for us. The exception being central Illinois could see 3, 4, 5, even some pockets of 6-inch snow amounts. And one of the reasons it's so cold out, 1 inch of moisture could produce 20 inches of snow. So this is going to be a very light, fluffy snow. Now, I'm not telling you we're going to get 20 inches. I'm telling you we're going to get 3 or 4 or 5 across central Illinois and probably about an inch here in Chicago. 28 cloudy skies right now, west-southwest winds at 8 miles per hour. Our wind chill right now, 20 degrees, and that's balmy compared to where we're going. Temperatures now upper 20s. I can still find you a 30-degree reading or here or there, mostly northwest Indiana, as that cooler air starts to pull in. There's the snowfall coming our way again, primarily tomorrow, but some snow showers tonight. 13, the daytime high temperature tomorrow, 12 on Sunday. And with the wind, again, those teens are going to feel like teens below zero. So here's the setup. Cold front coming in. Here comes that cold Arctic high pressure. Just kind of phases through the area. There's the snowfall, primarily central Illinois, but kind of kisses some of our south and southwest counties. We will see dry conditions as we go Saturday night and into Sunday, clearing out, and that's when it really gets cold. We'll have those numbers below zero across much of the area. The high pressure sails in for Sunday, again with some winds that will be gusting at times, 15, 20, maybe even up to 25 miles per hour at times over the weekend. Those numbers are going to drop. So 7 tonight here in the city, colder than that out in the suburbs. 13 tomorrow, northwest winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Light snowfall tomorrow. I think we see about an inch or so probably across most of Chicago. Not a major snowfall event, but it's all part of that winter package coming our way for the weekend. Sunday, sunshine, 12 degrees, daytime high. Teens below zero for the Bears game. After that, look what happens. We are pushing up into the low and mid 40s as we go later in the week. Any snowfall that's around, we can kiss that goodbye due to a big meltdown coming later in the 7-day forecast. Stick around. We're coming right back.
at the beautiful Gwen Hotel, located between Streeterville and River North in downtown Chicago. When you first walk in this lobby, you see this gorgeous Christmas tree. But there's something else in here that you will not see at any other hotel in the city of Chicago. It's pretty special. Take a look at this. It is a champagne vending machine. All you do is get your coin, put it in there, and watch how this works. I am going to go for a little rosé champagne, so this is what we're doing. Here we go. Just like a normal vending machine, but it's not normal, it's champagne. Okay, how cool is this? And as much fun as this is, wait till you see their rooftop. What they do for the holidays is so much fun. It's going to blow your mind. We are joined by Jason Sandberg. He is the Director of Restaurants and Bars here at the Gwen. Thanks for having us.
Oh, my pleasure.
Okay, this is incredible. Tell me what it is you guys do every year when you transform this.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Gwen is our annual curling tradition. We're really well known for this, doing this every year, coinciding with the Mag Mile Festival of Lights, continuing all the way to March. It's a really nice, cozy experience this year, kind of reminiscent of an après-ski theme. So we are offering some seasonal drinks, partnering with Minden Mills, a single estate distillery out of Nevada.
Okay.
And then we also are partnering the whole month of December with Moet Hennessy as well, leading up to our big New Year's Eve extravaganza as
It
well,
is
too.
so cozy out here. We're here early, so there's not a lot of people, but I imagine in the evening it is busy.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
It's so beautiful out here in the nighttime with all the glows from the fire pits. All of these are reservable year-round, so even if you want to come and join us in January and cuddle up with a blanket with a cocktail out here, it's
And
really...
there's TV screens.
Absolutely. You can
Yeah.
also catch all the football games out
Love
here,
it.
too.
Go Bears, right?
Yeah, go Bears is right.
Okay, but the curling is what blows my mind. How popular is this activity?
Oh, it's extremely popular. You know, we definitely sell out very quickly, so my suggestion is to get your bookings online as soon as possible. It is a complete artificial court, so no special shoes are needed. We do recommend people dress appropriately for the weather, although we have a variety of hot cocktails to keep you warm as well, too.
Okay, so let's talk about the cocktails and
Yes.
let's talk about the food. Let's walk over here.
Yeah, for sure.
I absolutely love this, Jason. You guys even have cozy little blankets for people to stay warm. Tell me about your theme here and what was your goal?
Absolutely. So we're kind of taking inspiration from an après-ski. So you'll notice the snowshoes, the skis, kind of leaning towards, like you're, just got back from skiing in the Alps here.
I love it. And then, because of this, you also did food kind of with that same theme. Let's talk about
Exactly.
what we're looking at now.
So we have a Bavarian pretzel with 3 different types of spicy mustard, grilled bratwurst served with our house-made fries, pork schnitzel strips with a brown onion gravy as well too. And then all of our curling reservations actually come with some complimentary cookies from our pastry chef. Only available by pre-order. We do have these fondues, which are extremely popular.
this is
so
incredible.
photogenic.
Yeah.
This is the s'mores chocolate fondue served with cacao berry, dark chocolate couverture with house-made torched marshmallows. Very, very fun.
For people who want to come out, how long will this be going on?
So we just started this past weekend, running all the way through the first week of March.
I love it.
So you have plenty of time.
And we haven't covered yet the cocktails. Tell me about those.
Okay, so for our curling experience, we have partnering with Minden Mill. So we have some spiked hot chocolate here. It has a little bit of a spice to it with some cinnamon liqueur, some chili, Minden Mill single malt whiskey. We have a single mill bourbon hot toddy that has just a little touch of ginger in it as well too. And then one of my favorites is the gingerbread man martini.
Love that.
Yeah, with our house-made gingerbread syrup, vanilla vodka, little Baileys in there as well.
I can't even imagine on a perfect Chicago night, seeing the skyline, the lights lit, the fireplaces going, all this amazing food. It must be picture perfect.
It is.
Right?
It's a great way to spend
Well,
a night.
first of all, thank you for having us, and cheers to the Gwen.
Cheers.
Happy
Thanks for coming.
holidays.
Happy holidays.
Now on the news at 5, families in the South Shore apartment building now searching for a new place to stay, forced out by judges ruling why they were forced from their homes.
And a shocking case in the north suburbs. A 14-year-old girl abducted and abused. What the founder of a child safety group has to say.
Break out the heavy coat and bundle up this weekend. It's going to be cold, dangerously cold. Good evening, I'm Terrence Lee.
And I'm Casey Cronus. Weather is first at 5.
Meteorologist Mark Strell standing by with everything you need to know. Hey, Mark.
The map with overnight low temperatures tonight down in the single digits, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. That cold air is just beginning to arrive. We will go over to partly cloudy skies later on, but in the meantime, we've got some flurries and maybe a little pocket or two of light snowfall. Light snowfall definitely in the cards for much of tomorrow under mostly cloudy skies. Temperatures right now really not all that bad. We're in the mid and upper 20s, but low 20s up along the Wisconsin state line as that cooler air starts to filter through Chicago. Still some 30s on the south end of the lake. Wind chills, yeah, we have some teens, but coming up tomorrow and especially into Sunday, we're going to see those wind chills in the minus teens coming up. And that's really the big story for the weekend. There's a little bit of light snowfall. We'll have a couple of pockets of flurries, maybe a scattered snow shower or two. Not much tonight. More significant snowfall for central Illinois. There's points south of Chicago, maybe 3 as much as 6 inches of snow on a broad band right across the midsection of the state. I think some of that snowfall will come our way in the form of maybe an inch or so across Chicago, maybe some flurries, a couple of snow showers tomorrow. There is a winter weather advisory for points south of the Interstate 80. And as we track that back into Montana, that's where the main body of the storm system is that's diving down. Now watch where the trajectory is. We miss out on the heavy snowfall, but notice how everything's flowing out of the north and northwest in our atmosphere, bringing us the snowfall down here, down towards Springfield, down towards Decatur, and maybe a little bit of light snowfall here coming tomorrow, but the flow in the atmosphere bringing that cold air right here into Chicago. Fortunately for us, it's kind of about a 2-day event. Saturday and Sunday will be the coldest days. And by next week, believe it or not, I've got you back up into the 40s. Maybe even a little break in the clouds and some sunshine. I'll tell you about that in a moment.
Oh, good. All right, Mark, thank you. Well, Chicago police need your help finding this boy. 4-year-old Hassan Nicholas Yule Cook was last seen Wednesday in the city's Little Village neighborhood. Police say he was with his dad and is wearing a brown sweater. His father, 24-year-old Sergio Daniel Yule Cook, is also missing. If you have seen them or have any information, call police.
Residents at a South Shore apartment building are being forced out today. This is the same complex that was raided by ICE agents earlier this fall.
A judge ruled they can't stay any longer, leaving many families scrambling to find somewhere to go as frigid weather sets in. Our Leslie Moreno is live with what we know.
Casey, Terrence, good evening. Yeah, we are right outside that apartment building here on 75th and South Shore Drive. This place has been the center of controversy since that raid back in September. Tonight, as you said, many families were left scrambling, packing up whatever belongings they could take. A judge has ruled the building is simply too unsafe. That building, you see there, has been cited multiple times for serious problems, everything from heat outages to structural concerns. Tenants say those issues piled up long before federal agents showed up. Residents formed a tenants group hoping to buy more time, but it was rejected. A judge also denied a motion for each tenant to receive almost $8,000 to help relocate, adding tenants are being offered a fair amount based on their rent. Tonight, residents say this sudden deadline feels impossible. They've spent weeks searching for housing, only to find wait lists, high rents, and very little help. We spoke with one resident earlier this evening who says they already moved out, but she came back just to help her neighbors.
It's just very heavy on my heart to know that a lot of older people that was in the building that were in wheelchairs and things like that, you know, they didn't have no family like other people may have had families to come and help them and stuff. And so it was like pretty sad. People couldn't get up the stairs because the elevators wasn't working. You could fall into a wheelchair, there's nobody to help you. You had to sit out here and wait for the fire department to come and get you. Like I saw a lot. I saw a young lady get cut up in the building. I saw like someone, you know, actually get shot and carried out the building, you know. So it was like a lot of things that I don't want to touch up on, but I have seen.
And community groups have been stopping by, dropping off boxes, supplies, as well as trying to connect families to temporary shelter. However, with very few units available on such short notice, many telling us they've had no choice but to stay with a friend, find a local shelter. Some also telling us they have absolutely nowhere to go tonight. In the South Side, Leslie Moreno, Fox 32 Chicago.
Are we weeks away from a potential city of Chicago government shutdown? Mayor Brandon Johnson and alders have until the end of the month to come up with a plan to close a $1.1 billion budget gap.
Brett Bagansky is live at City Hall, and Brett, a City Hall shutdown would be unprecedented.
Certainly that is the case, Casey and Tara. So that's why we wanted to know. A lot of our viewers have been reaching out to us wondering the same thing. What happens in the city of Chicago if the government shuts down? So I found out that very question is getting debated right here at City Hall. So for the last few days, we have heard from Mayor Brandon Johnson talk about the potential from a government shutdown here in the city of Chicago. He talked about the potential for 30,000 workers not getting paid and some city services being shut down. So I reached out to the mayor's office today to find out the specifics about that. What services would be closed? Who wouldn't get paid? Earlier this afternoon, a spokesperson for Mayor Brandon Johnson told me that they would get back to me. So I'm still waiting to hear back from them. But keep this in mind. If there was a city of Chicago government shutdown, this would have some impacts even for workers who aren't employed by the city of Chicago. So earlier today, I spoke with Vince Sliwa. He's the owner of a Windy City Garage. He builds garages all over the Chicagoland area. He's a small business owner where his world is all about permits and inspections. And that all comes through the city of Chicago. And without those checks and balances, without those government approvals, Vince can't move forward with this project.
But to not have the city open or know if that part's going to be closed, then yeah, that's really going to make a backlog for the city. And, you know, for contractors who rely on that, it's going to make it a little bit more difficult to navigate.
So what's the biggest thing that's on your mind right now, Vince?
Hopefully the city can come together and make a deal and keep the city open and keep it running, you know, and be the easiest thing for everyone.
A lot of uncertainty still here, and just a few hours ago, I spoke with Alderman Brian Hopkins. I posed that same question to them. Who wouldn't get paid? What city services would shut down? The short answer is, I don't know. That is certainly one of the big questions right here, but tonight at 9 o'clock, you're going to hear from them about how the alders are making contingency plans on everything. It's certainly a story you're not going to want to miss. But for now, we're live outside City Hall tonight. Brett Bagansky, Fox 32 Chicago.
All right, time will tell. Brett, thank you. A federal appeals court, meantime, is blocking the sweeping release of hundreds of immigrants detained during Operation Midway Blitz. At the same time, the 3 judges who made that call are allowing an extension of a consent decree. It limits agents from making arrests without a warrant. Last month, a U.S. district judge ordered the detainees released on bond, claiming the government violated that consent decree. But the appeals court says that judge overstepped his authority by ordering a blanket release instead of reviewing cases individually. And a Garfield Park church has donated over $22,000 toward the release of detainees. Block Club reports the money will go to the Midwest Immigration Bond Fund. The group works to help those who may qualify for release after a court ruled that ICE violated a 2022 consent decree.
Indiana rejected President Trump's redistricting effort, and now the state could lose federal funds. According to the Indy Star, The Hill, and the Indiana Chronicle, Indiana's lieutenant governor appeared to confirm in a now deleted post to X the Trump administration threatened to withhold federal funding if lawmakers fail to pass a new GOP-favored congressional map. The president has also threatened to support challengers in the primary. On Thursday, the Indiana Senate voted 31-19 to kill the redistricting bill.
3 Chicago men who were arrested after a home invasion in Lamont have been tied to the same crime in Homer Glen one day earlier. The first happened Wednesday when police say the suspects forced their way into a 73-year-old woman's home in Homer Glen, bound her to a chair, and later stole cash from her bank account. The next day, investigators say the same men targeted a 65-year-old woman in Lamont as she was unloading boxes in her driveway. They allegedly forced her her inside and stole her ATM card. Police used license plate reader technology to track the suspects down in Joliet. They sped away, crashed their car, and ran on foot, but were later arrested. The Will County Sheriff's Office says all 3 people are from Chicago and have lengthy criminal histories.
A new study says Cook County's property tax incentives could use an update. It found long-standing tax breaks for commercial and industrial properties aren't targeting areas that need help the most. It argues current incentives often reduce taxes for businesses that don't need extra support. It also says the current rules haven't kept pace with today's market. The report saying that Cook County officials should rethink how tax breaks are given to benefit the right communities and businesses. A reminder, your second installment property tax bills are due Monday. New details are out about the situation surrounding former Michigan head coach Jerome Moore leading the charges.
What we know about his relationship with a staffer. And warming centers are opening this weekend in response to icy temps. What you need to know and another check of the weather coming up.
Fox.
Catholics turn out to one of the largest gatherings. The celebration of Our Lady of Guadalupe is scheduled for tonight's events.
Uncleared sidewalks and roads of snow can cause a problem for the public. We're digging deeper into the data of those snow-related complaints.
And new pictures are out from sex offender Jeffrey Epstein's estate. The big names being revealed in photos.
But first, an Evanston teen is safe after police say she was abducted and sexually abused. Police say it happened after she missed her school bus.
We talked about it with the founder of Safely Ever After this afternoon on Chicago Live. She tells us every young person needs to learn some basic safety guidelines.
The rules are, number one, you're the boss of your own body. It sounds a little youngish, kiddish, but boss of my body means that each kid from the time they are child till they are an adult should feel that they own their body. They're in charge of their body, and they're in charge of who asks them to do what with their body. But one of the important things to teach kids, especially in this situation, safe grown-ups, when you're out there in the world, safe grown-ups don't ask kids for help. Somebody who needs help will ask another adult for assistance. And in this situation, a safe adult will not offer their services to a kid who is by themselves, because a safe adult knows that would not be safe for them as well as the child. They don't want to put themselves in that position or in that situation. So the minute somebody's asking to either help you, gonna get you to school on time, or ask you for help, oh, can you help me, I'm lost, can you come close to my car? Their simple answer, one of the rules for kids is to just know what to say. And the word is nope.
You can watch Patty Fitzgerald's full interview and get more details on our Fox 32 YouTube page. House Democrats unveiling new photos from Jeffrey Epstein's estate exactly 1 week before the deadline for the Justice Department to release all the files on him. The new batch of photos shows just some of the powerful people sex offender Jeffrey Epstein associated with, including former Harvard President Larry Summers, filmmaker Woody Allen, Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates, and Presidents Bill Clinton and Donald Trump. Democrats say they want to hold this administration accountable.
Obfuscate, hide stuff from the American people. All we want is full transparency so that the American people can get the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. That's what the Epstein survivors deserve and have demanded. And we're going to make sure that the Department of Justice complies.
Republicans claim they're cherry-picking photos. In a statement, the White House says, quote, the Democrat hoax against President Trump has been repeatedly debunked, and the Trump administration has done more for Epstein's victims than Democrats ever have, unquote.
The celebrations conclude tonight for Our Lady of Guadalupe Shrine in Des Plaines. Thousands gather every year for the annual tradition. It marks the anniversary of the Virgin Mary's appearance to St. Juan Diego in Mexico in 1531. The closing mass begins tonight at 7 at the Chapel of St. Joseph. Grand raffle winners will also be announced.
Well, taking a live look outside right now, beautiful skyline, but Mark, a reason a lot of people are a little nervous to head out to see Our Lady of Guadalupe tonight is the frigid cold.
Well, not that cold so far this evening. We're still in the 20s, and I can find some 30s on the map, but the cold is nudging its way in, that's for certain. But it won't be as cold tonight as it will be coming up in the next 24 hours. There is a winter weather advisory. It is posted for LaSalle County, and this is from a storm system that's diving our direction coming in tomorrow with some moderately heavy snowfall for parts of central Illinois. I think we'll see a little bit of light snowfall here in Chicago. We have the potential to see maybe an inch here in the city, but this is primarily a Route 80 and south of 80 situation. And even in LaSalle County, where that situation, where that advisory is posted, this is mostly a southern LaSalle County issue. So Futurecast does show the snowfall coming in. Again, very light amounts, heavier amounts south of 80, maybe an inch or two right along that Interstate 80 corridor. Negligible amounts here in Chicago. But it's all part of the same situation, the same package of cold that's arriving north and northwest from the Arctic, bringing us the snowfall and also those brutally cold conditions coming our way with overnight low temperatures tomorrow night below zero once you get outside of the city. We'll talk more about that Bears forecast coming up in a moment.
Okay, Mark, thank you. And Cook County is opening its warming centers to help people escape those freezing temps. 3 different locations are welcoming people in through Monday. That includes the Skokie Courthouse, the Maywood Courthouse, and the Markham Courthouse. They'll provide water, snacks, and access to restrooms. You can bring your 4-legged friends, too, as long as they're in carriers. Aurora is also opening overnight centers starting at 7 tonight. We've got a full list of locations on our website, fox32chicago.com.
This year's snow season is starting off with a record-breaking amount of 311 calls over unclear roads and sidewalks. The Sun-Times says the city has seen more service calls to start this year's winter season than the same time period in any year since at least 2019. 311 data shows the service received more than 12,000 snow-related complaints from November 1st to December 10th. Nearly half of the complaints were for uncleared sidewalks.
The executive director of the Chicago Police Memorial Foundation is retiring. Phil Klein established the foundation in 2004 when he was serving as the CPD superintendent. At the time, his goal was to build a permanent memorial honoring all CPD officers killed in the line of duty. The Gold Star family's memorial and park was dedicated just 2 years later. The foundation then shifted its focus to provide ongoing financial and emotional support to families of fallen and injured officers. Now, after nearly 5 decades of serving the city, Klein is ready to retire and focus on family and health. Last year, he was diagnosed with Parkinson's.
The governor signed the end-of-life bill today, gives terminally ill patients the option to peacefully end their lives.
We're digging deeper into the bill and the outrage from some religious groups. And no, the sky isn't turning colors because of an alien invasion. Why parts of the country saw the skies turn red.
After 8 days of graphic testimony, deliberations are underway in the trial of Brian Walsh.
He's the Massachusetts man accused of killing his wife and dismembering her body nearly 3 years ago.
Kaylee Schuyler is live outside the courthouse with the latest. Kaylee.
Hey, Terrence and Casey. So after around 4 hours of jury deliberations, they didn't reach a verdict and court closed for the day. So things are going to pick back up on Monday morning. But the jury is trying to decide if Brian Walsh is guilty of first-degree murder. And it was just a few weeks ago before jury selection even started that Walsh pleaded guilty to misleading police and unlawful disposal of a body. So prosecutors say Walsh killed his wife, 39-year-old Anna Walsh, in 2023. They told jurors Walsh was motivated by financial problems and because he found out Anna was having an affair. According to prosecutors, Brian Walsh cut up Anna's body into pieces and tossed her remains in several dumpsters around the Boston area. Anna's body has never been found, but investigators found her DNA on various tools like a hacksaw and a hatchet and discovered blood-stained towels, cleaning supplies, and Anna's purse in those dumpsters. Prosecutors also pointed to internet searches they say Brian made on his laptop, including how to saw a body, can you be charged with murder without a body, 10 ways to dispose of a dead body, and how long before a body starts to smell. Now, this is surveillance video of Brian Walsh at a Home Depot. Prosecutors say he purchased hundreds of dollars in cleaning supplies after the alleged murder. Walsh's defense attorney says Brian didn't kill his wife, arguing he found Anna unresponsive in bed after a sudden, unexplained death, and then they say he panicked. Walsh didn't testify in the trial, and the defense didn't call any witnesses. Prosecutors say the evidence clearly proves Walsh murdered his wife, while the defense says there's no proof.
The defendant intended to kill Anna Walsh. He didn't just want her dead, he needed her dead. This was a marriage in crisis.
Mr. Walsh loved Anna Walsh, the mother of his 3 children. There's no evidence that he deliberately premeditated a murder. There's no evidence that he ever intended to kill Anna Walsh.
If the jury finds Walsh guilty, he will face life in prison without the possibility of parole. And we're also waiting on the sentencing details from those guilty pleas. In Dedham, Massachusetts, Kaylee Schuyler, Fox 32 Chicago.
Across America now, dramatic rescues as torrential rain leads to flooding on the West Coast.
This is in Washington state. The Coast Guard had to rescue residents off of rooftops as entire neighborhoods are underwater. An atmospheric river has brought days of downpours. Thousands of people have been evacuated, and Washington is under a state of emergency.
Arizona's Attorney General is warning about hard drugs being designed to taste like candy. He says 1.5 pounds of fruit-flavored cocaine was confiscated after a convicted Arizona drug dealer allegedly used social media apps to sell it to teenagers. He's been indicted by a grand jury for allegedly selling the drugs on WhatsApp. The AG says it's being sold in flavors like strawberry and banana, and now she is calling on social media companies to be held accountable.
And a doorbell camera caught a massive gas explosion near San Francisco. Wow, it happened in the town of Hayward, California. The home was completely blown apart. 6 people were hurt. Neighbors say their houses shook during the blast. No word yet on what caused it.
Dang. All right, despite what you might want to wish, the red sky was not a sign of an alien invasion. Parts of the country saw the skies turn red, but NASA says it's something called a sprite. And it's very rare. It can happen during a thunderstorm, and it's more or less red lightning where the bolts sprout up into the atmosphere.
A sprouted sprite.
A sprouted. I still think it looks like promo for Stranger Things.
Yeah, it does.
Season 5, streaming now.
Oh.
All right, keep it right here.
More news on the way here at 5.
Zelensky traveling to the front lines as U.S. and European leaders continue to try to work out an end to the war. I'm Connor Hansen in New York. I'll have the details coming up.
And Tina Wynn, later in sports, the Bears are preparing for what could be one of the coldest games at Soldier Field when they host the Browns on Sunday. I'll tell you how Bears head coach Ben Johnson plans to get the offense into a rhythm against one of the top defenses in the NFL.
Terminally ill patients now have more options to end their lives peacefully thanks to a new law called Deb's Law, and it's causing quite a controversy.
Another round of peace talks between Russia and Ukraine this weekend, but is a deal any closer to getting done?
Could the Bears game this Sunday be on track to be the coldest game ever at Soldier Field? We're tracking what to expect. Mark is back with us now for a quick check of the forecast.
Yeah, I like that. We always give tips, bundle up, keep your face ready. The best tip I've heard all day is go buy some battery-powered clothing, right? Clothing that just has like its own little built-in heater in it. I'm all for that. You'll need it coming up on Sunday because we have wind chills that'll be in the teens below zero with daytime highs only in the single digits in the teens. High pressure settling in, bringing that cold air in, also bringing a little pocket of snowfall. We'll see some flurries, some snow showers overnight tonight, but maybe an inch or so of snowfall across parts of the city tomorrow. The further south you go, the better chance you see of seeing at least some snowfall and more significant snowfall south of Interstate 80 and central Illinois, 3, 4, 5 inches of snow. It's so cold that this is going to take the moisture content and then just like pop it up like popcorn. We could have a 20-to-1 ratio between moisture and snowfall. So that's why very light, fluffy snowfall. Central Illinois, 4, 5, maybe even 6 inches of snowfall. Again, an inch for us, but very light, fluffy snowfall. High pressure again pushes in, brings us some sunshine on Sunday, but very cold conditions again. Single digits and teens for daytime highs with overnight low temperatures below zero. And on Sunday for the Bears game, I think we'll have wind chills in the teens below zero. It is going to be an electric clothing kind of day.
That it is. Thank you, Mark. Well, with the stroke of a pen, Illinois is now the 12th state to allow physician-assisted death.
Governor J.B. Pritzker signed the so-called Medical Aid in Dying Act, and it's being met with mixed reaction. Political reporter Paris Schutz is here to break it all down. Paris?
Yeah, Terrence and Casey, the governor did away with the typical pomp and circumstance of a bill signing today and instead decided to put out a written statement saying that this bill that critics have referred to as assisted suicide is a go, and proponents call it medical aid in dying.
The bill is named after terminally ill Lombard resident Deb Robertson, who has been fighting for its passage. We visited with Robertson in the summer. She explained why she believes patients like her need to have the option to die on their own terms to avoid a painful, natural death from illness.
I'm already dying. I'm already dying, and I want to die with dignity, and I want to die the way I want to die.
The bill passed the Illinois General Assembly with a supermajority this fall. Governor Pritzker said his decision was influenced by the stories of Robertson and others. Quote, today, Illinois honors their strength and courage by enacting legislation that enables patients faced with debilitating terminal illnesses to make a decision in consultation with a doctor that helps them avoid unnecessary pain and suffering at the end of their lives. Under the bill, a patient would need to be diagnosed with a terminal illness and given 6 months or less to live. They must be evaluated for mental health concerns and get verbal and written approval from 2 physicians 5 days apart. And doctors who prescribe would be immune from prosecution unless they coerce a patient, in which case they'd face felony charges. House Republican leader Tony McComey had a mixed reaction. Quote, this is an emotional and deeply personal issue for many families, including mine. When my mother passed at home, I know she would have chosen this path to ease our pain, not her own. That's exactly why strong safeguards matter. This bill goes too far without the protections Illinois families deserve. But religious groups have universally opposed the legislation. Today, a spokesperson for the Catholic Conference of Illinois said, quote, Illinois is endorsing the death option while claiming compassion. The message will be heard by vulnerable groups, not as a balm for the dying, but as a societally acceptable alternative to living. Indeed, studies show that where assisted suicide has been made legal, the number of all suicides has risen.
Now, through a spokesperson, Deb Robertson, the person behind Deb's Law, said she was thrilled today at the bill's passage and said it was an out-of-body experience that this finally got across the finish line. Terrence, they've been working on this for many, many years, and it was a surprise that it went through this fall, but it is now law.
All right, Paris, thank you. Another push for peace this weekend as Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky meets with top European leaders.
As Connor Hansen explains, any agreement may hinge on what territory, if any, Ukraine is willing to cede to Russia.
President Zelensky making a trip to the front lines Friday in eastern Ukraine, releasing a video thanking troops in a city they took back from Russian forces.
It is critically important to achieve results on the battlefield so that Ukraine can achieve results in diplomacy.
The visit comes as pressure mounts to reach a deal to end the war. Zelensky travels to Paris Saturday to meet with the leaders of France, Germany, and the UK.
The
main issue here is what territories and concessions Ukraine is prepared to make. That is a question that must be answered primarily by the Ukrainian president and the Ukrainian people.
That meeting follows talks with Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Pentagon Chief Pete Hegseth on Thursday. President Trump has pushed a peace plan that would require Ukraine to hand over more land that Russia does not currently occupy. There have also been discussions about turning the strategic Donbas region into a free economic zone, with the militaries on both sides withdrawing. Zelensky says any decision to cede land would require a national referendum and is asking for security guarantees from the U.S. and Europe to prevent a future Russian invasion. The U.S. has not committed to attending this weekend's meeting in Paris.
We don't want to waste a lot of time. We think it's negative. We want it to get settled. We want to save a lot of lives.
European leaders are expected to meet again Monday in Germany. In New York, Connor Hansen, Fox 32, Chicago.
The Hubbard Inn is going all out for the holidays, decking their halls.
We're checking in to see what's on the menu as we continue tasting Chicago.
Fox.
All right, we're back with some breaking news right now. A house fire breaks out this afternoon. This is on South Lafayette, the 8200 block, if you're familiar with that area. You can see the emergency lights there. Obviously, you can also see all that smoke in the air. And you can see the flames as our shot goes in closer here to this home. A large group of firefighters are out there. We're working to learn more about how this started, the cause. Hopefully, there are no injuries. As soon as we learn more, we will pass that along to you. And you see them with their flashlights there too. I'm assuming maybe they'll look for any one or any other points they need to hit this fire at. All right, we'll check back in with that a little bit later. 'Tis the season to stay warm and to party.
In this week's Tasting Chicago, Sylvia Perez takes us to a holiday pop-up with 3 levels of themed decor and cocktails.
In River North at the Hubbard Inn, but every year the Hubbard Inn, as you can see, changes both inside and out and becomes the Christmas Inn. And I am joined now by Kayla DeGoyer. She is the event coordinator here. Okay, this is spectacular. Tell me about this.
Yeah, the Christmas Inn is our 4th year. We are bigger and brighter than ever before. We go full out for all of December.
No kidding. I love it. You have Yule logs and all the screens throughout, and everything is decorated from the floor to the ceiling. And tell me about how long does it take to do this?
This takes about 2 to 3 weeks, depending on when we start. We started earlier this year, so we started the beginning of November. We have been open and running since the 13th. And we will keep things going until January 1st.
The thing I love about this, too, is that each corner has its own personality.
Yes. We have our library lounge, which is the back cozy area with the fireplaces, and our front area, once the sun parlor, is now the ice parlor, which is dawned with beautiful snowmen, icicles everywhere.
And then the bar, you've actually brought a few little things here because you also focus on doing holiday cocktails and food. What do we have?
Yes, we have our mistletoe martini, which is one of my favorites. We have our Christmas mule, and then we have our Santa's sour.
Tell me about the area we're entering now.
We are entering the ice parlor. We've got snowmen and icicles.
And this is probably one of the favorite spots to sit at, right?
100%.
Yeah.
It's right in the front. You get a great view of the whole restaurant.
And you said you've been doing this for 4 years, and you have people who come back every year because they love it so much.
100%. Yeah, we definitely have regulars, not only for private events, but to just come back and see what seasonal cocktails we have and what food we're bringing.
So we've got this amazing cocktails, and now they're bringing in this food. Whoa, what in the world do we have?
That's a showstopper. This is our chicken pot pie. This is our first year that we are doing this. Thank you, Chef.
That's beautiful.
Chicken and waffles is a staple for our brunch, which we do every Saturday and Sunday. We have our arancini.
It looks amazing.
Yeah, there's more coming.
Okay. Oh, let's put that over here.
And this is another new item as well. This is our caviar potato pave.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Your food is just like total upscale.
Yeah. I know. I'm a little biased, but it's actually, it's delicious.
Yeah.
So when I'm not planning all the events and putting on all the Christmas parties, I am eating everything on the menu.
So these are some of the favorites from the past. This one's brand new.
Yes, that one's brand new. And I see why, because it is huge.
Yeah.
That's a showstopper.
It is huge. So this is something, you guys are open, what are your hours during all of this?
So we actually are opening earlier than we have before. We're opening at 3 p.m. every day, and then brunch is 11 a.m. every Saturday and Sunday.
And can we do a little taste test?
Yeah, what do you have your eye on?
How does one begin with this? Do we know?
I'm not sure, but I think we can learn together.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay.
Here we go. Ready?
Yeah.
Go.
Wow. Very satisfying.
Oh, yes. Oh, my gosh. Look at this crust.
Aside from tasty, I'm sure this is kind of fun for people to do together.
Oh, my gosh. Look at this. Okay, let's take a bite. Taste it. Oh, look at that. Oh. Whoa. Yeah. This is beautiful. Yum.
Oh, my gosh. I'm a little nervous here. What do we think out of 10? 10 out of 10?
It's amazing. The crust is incredible.
Right? Great job, Chef.
These are mini beef Wellingtons?
Yes.
I have one over here.
Those are a big seller on our events kit, too.
Okay, I'm cutting into this. Oh, look at this, you guys. I gotta turn this so the camera can see that.
Yeah, look at it close up.
Gorgeous. Is this a regular? Is this one that's been on the menu?
Yeah, so we do that as a feature on our private event menu. But we also have it on our normal menu because of how popular it's been.
I get it.
Yeah.
So good.
Definitely a fan favorite.
So tell everybody where you're located and do you suggest reservations? What do you say?
Yes, so due to high demand, I do recommend doing reservations. You do not need it. Everyone is more than welcome to walk in and just hang out, take a picture or two, grab a drink at the bar.
This is fun no matter what, just to come over and sit at that huge bar and sit and have a fun holiday cocktail. So cheers to you. Cheers to the Christmas Inn. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for coming.
I can't wait to come back.
Yeah.
I'm Cassie Carlson. New details in the firing and arrest of former Michigan head coach Sherrone Moore. And DJ Moore's numbers are way down this season. The Bears receiver and Ben Johnson react to how he's being used in the offense coming up in sports. All right, well, if you don't have a heated vest, right, tonight is the time. Otherwise, we are as ready as we'll ever be for this weekend.
Good point. You know, we've got temperatures that will be very cold all weekend long, Saturday and Sunday. But here's the good news. By next week, by Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we start to warm up, and we warm up to above average numbers. These numbers are not too bad so far. We're in the 20s and 30s, but you can see off to the north and northwest in Rockford, those numbers get smaller and smaller as that colder air continues to push in from the north and northwest. It's not only just the colder air, it's also some snowfall. We'll have a couple of flurries, maybe a snow shower or two tonight, not a big deal. And then there's more snowfall upstream from Montana back into the Dakotas that's going to dive into central Illinois. There is a winter weather advisory for LaSalle County, but this is a Interstate 80 and south snowstorm here in Chicago. If we see an inch, even an inch or two along the Interstate 80 corridor, I think that's about the max we're going to see out of that. 13, though, on Saturday for your high temperature. We're in the teens again on Sunday. In between Saturday and Sunday, that is Saturday night and Sunday morning, I think most of us are going to see temperatures below zero. Here in the city, we're pretty close to zero. So cold conditions, but it's really going to be the wind chills that are going to howl, and those wind chills could be in the teens below zero coming up on Sunday for the Bears game. High pressure dropping in. We will see some sunshine on Sunday. It'll be cold sunshine. There's that storm system that brings us the snowfall, mostly central Illinois. It brings us a little splash of some snowfall. Other than that, we're pretty dry beyond. In fact, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it looks like the snow really not going to be an issue at all. In fact, if we have anything, it'll be rain later in the week. Tonight, we're down to 7. Tomorrow, look for daytime high temperatures of 13. Quick look at the 7-day forecast. Cold over the weekend, bitterly cold, but I've got 40s Wednesday and Thursday with a shot of rain on Thursday.
All right, Mark, thank you. And as Mark mentioned, the Bears are taking on the Cleveland Browns this Sunday. But no matter what type of heat the players bring, we're on track to experience one of the coldest games in Soldier Field history.
Now, the coldest game ever played at the stadium was on December 22nd, 2008, when Chicago faced division rivals Green Bay Packers with a kickoff temperature 2 degrees and wind chills up to -13. Bears finished that game with the 2017 overtime victory. If you are planning to bear down and attend the game in person, hot drinks and warming centers will be available across the stadium. Fans can also wear clothing with battery-operated heating elements. Keep in mind, this will mean additional security screening. As for the players, they're pretty chill about the forecast and the matchup.
Here is Cassie Carlson with sports. Hey, Cassie.
Yeah, well, the Bears, they just run on pure adrenaline. They say once that whistle starts, they're like, I don't even think about the cold, which I actually find really hard to believe. But they also know that they need at least 2 more wins to secure their spot in the playoffs. Rome Odunze, who missed last week with a foot injury, is questionable. Kyler Gordon is out, and Tyreek Stevenson will play Sunday, but said he'll be on a pitch count. Tina Nguyen has more from Hallis Hall.
I think all along we've been of the mind, and I know I've said this before, where we want the ability to run it or throw it, whatever it takes to win.
There's a heightened sense of urgency inside the Bears locker room, especially facing a Browns team that features one of the top defenses in the NFL. Cleveland has been elite against the pass, though their run defense sits closer to the middle of the pack.
I think we're at a good spot right now to where that running game has come on strong. It's physical, man. I give a lot of credit to our guys, just talking to some of them earlier today about it, and the way the O-line's coming off the ball, the way the tight ends are blocking.
The Bears' own rushing attack ranks near the top of the league, but getting the offense off to a faster start has been a major emphasis, including getting DJ Moore involved.
Do I want to get DJ Moore going? Absolutely. Do I want to get all these guys the ball? Absolutely. They've all earned that right, and I think it makes us a better, more well-rounded offense.
Nobody is really harping about getting the ball or anything like that. So, I mean, at the end of the day, we just be on the details and go from there.
And against the Browns defense led by Myles Garrett, the NFL sack leader this season with 20 sacks, the pressure is on the offensive line to keep the pocket clean and give Caleb Williams time to operate.
To both me and Ryan, making sure we got that position right, certainly when you looked at Caleb's rookie season, the number of times he got sacked, that's a hard way to live. That's a hard way to be efficient on offense. And so we certainly want to be better in pass protection.
When you hear the name Myles Garrett, what comes to mind initially?
Yeah, just a perennial edge rusher and, somebody who can wreak havoc and, kind of ruin the game if you let him.
From Hallis Hall, I'm Tina Nguyen, Fox 32 Sports.
Thanks, Tina. We have plenty more Bears talk coming up tonight. Catch Bears Blitz with Lou and Anthony as we discuss how the Bears can prevent Myles Garrett from setting that single-season sack record against them. And then at 6:30, it's Chicago Sports Tonight. Tina Nguyen talks with offensive lineman Jonah Jackson, and Nick Costa shares his best bets and what Vegas is saying about who will take home the Heisman tomorrow night. Well, fired Michigan football head coach Sharon Moore faces 3 federal charges, 3rd-degree felony home invasion and 2 misdemeanors for stalking and breaking and entering. He was released from jail on $25,000 bond. This all comes after he was fired with cause on Wednesday for an inappropriate relationship with a staff member. Let's go to the ice. The Blackhawks in St. Louis tonight to take on the Blues. Hawks are coming off a shutout win against the Rangers on Wednesday, looking for back-to-back wins for the first time since early November. But is it creeping into the team's mind?
To me, it's more of a tomorrow conversation. Yeah. The game against, the tonight's game, just a normal kind of situation. So to me, that would be more of a tomorrow message. And I don't know if it's as much of a chip on the shoulder as much as, because it's not that our guys weren't out there trying. They were trying. We just need to learn how to play better when we don't have our best legs. And that's something that we'll talk about tomorrow. And some of that might be schematically and us doing a job of putting them in places to be successful.
Well, just like the weather, the Bulls have gone ice cold ever since their hot 5-0 start to the season. Since then, they have a 4-14 record, riding a 7-game losing streak. They take on the 7-win Hornets on the road tonight. Tip-off is at 7 o'clock. And former Cub Christopher Morel signs a 1-year deal with the Marlins. That's it for sports. We'll be right back.
get some hot cocoa and warm up, or some spiked apple cider.
Either way, you know, one in one hand, one in the other, whatever, you know, that way both hands are warm. We've got, some snowfall coming tomorrow, very light snowfall, heavier snowfall south of Interstate 80. I think maybe an inch or so tomorrow, but then it stays cold all weekend long with temperatures in the teens.
And spike the apple cider with Fireball. Trust me on that.
Oh,
it's
that'll
good.
keep you warm.
Yeah, it'll warm you up. All right, thanks for joining us at 5 o'clock.
And now you can stream us on your smart TV with Fox Local.
We're on all the streaming platforms.
Bears Blitz is next, and be sure to tune in tonight at 9.
Be safe, be well, and most importantly, be kind.
Tis the season.
Say there's no such thing as a trap game sandwiched between two rivalry games between the Packers. The Bears aren't overlooking the 3-win Browns, who have the second best defense in the league. And of course, a guy named Myles Garrett, who's 3 sacks away from setting the single season sack record. Caleb Williams said they don't want it to come against them on Sunday, and he's got what the kids say, a deep bag. And the Bears will have to be in their bag in all 3 phases as they search for at least 2 more wins to secure their spot in the playoffs. And the record low temps at Soldier Field won't make it easy for either team on Sunday. We discuss it all coming up this week on Bears Blitz. And welcome into Bears Blitz, brought to you by IGS Energy. If you are going to the game on Sunday, I hope you got all your cold weather gear. We are preparing for wind chills as low as 20 degrees below zero. That was like a pity pat right there.
Oh, I feel so
Lou gets to be inside. Big Ant, who's in Baltimore right now, he's going to be on the call for Army Navy for Sirius XM tomorrow. He's going to be enjoying this nice warm studio, and I guess drew the short straw for this one. But
no,
we'll
you know what? I'm going to be a real man. You know what? You can host the show with Big A, and I'll go outside for you.
No, I know you. You wouldn't survive. There's no chance you would survive.
I am saying that on TV.
Yeah, okay, well, I'll gladly take that assignment for the day. Hey, the weather's going to be no excuse. It's going to be one of the coldest games in Soldier Field history, but the Bears, they need their 10th win of the season against the Browns on Sunday, Lou.
They sure do. I'll tell you what. They need 11 wins to get into the playoffs, maybe even 12. No 11-win team has ever been kept out of the playoffs. Seattle had 10 wins last year. This is a must-win for the Bears. And you know what, Bears? Guess what? Cleveland has come to Soldier Field 4 times since we opened Soldier Field and lost all 4 of those games. The last time